Good afternoon, students. This is the first year that you are starting with Design and Technology, Year 2. My name is Arenda Herman. I'm your tutor. So and it is according to the assignment based for 2018. So I hope you have your assignment paper with you. So when I explain that, you can just add and see what I want in your assignment. The first one that we talk about, or the first slide, is about the consequences of conflict. Now, what is conflict? Conflict is an unresolved conflicts that can lead to physical fights. It's steered emotions, hatred and anger. Now in the class, because when you go next year for practice teaching, you will go to grade 5 and 6, and you will find a lot of conflict in the class. Children that cannot work together in a group, or children that do not understand each other, and also cultural differences. So you will have to find out which ways you can use to curb the conflict. That means to find out what the problem is that started the conflict and what you can do about it. If you don't work on the conflict, it will result in physical fights, like I said, in hatred one against the other, and also anger. And then you must be very careful, because the hatred and the anger and the stir emotions will also involve parents later on if you don't deal with it in your class. So you must be careful, and when you see there's a conflict, you must immediately, a conflict is like a problem, you must immediately address it and find out what it is and get a solution quickly. Because these children are small, they have issues against each other, but if you as a teacher step in, or as a student teacher like you will be next year, you can curb the problem quickly. The next one is the ways to prevent electrical shocks. Now, when we think of a design and technology class, there's a lot of equipment, a lot of things that have to do with electricity and with water, because these are all the things that they will use in the class. That is why I'm going over now to ways to prevent electrical shocks. Now, when we think of an electrical shock, we think of circuits we think of where they plug it in, and we think of electrical machinery. So you must be very careful. You must teach them how to be careful of an electrical shock. And the things that you will have to do is you need to be safety conscious, not just you as a teacher, but you must teach them the rules of being safe, of being safety conscious. So when you go into the class next year, you must check if there is a board or maybe a poster that have rules for being safe in the class. Because if there are no rules, and children will just do what they want, they will not understand that they can get shocked, or they can get hurt in the process, or they can hurt some of their friends. So the first thing is that you must do is you must be safety conscious. So you must teach them about the rules when you go to teach one day, or when you go for class for a visit. Then you must check if the rules are on the board or on a poster, like I said. The second one is you must teach them to shut the power down. Now, what does that mean? Before they can shut the power down, they must first check the circuit, which means if they put the plug into the circuit, they must see was the button off already or was it on. Remember, you must tell them once the circuit or once the plug is in the circuit, even if it's off, the electricity is still flowing. So they must be very careful of it. The next one is, let me quickly go back. And then the other thing about electrical shocks is you must be careful and teach your children that water is something that is very dangerous to electricity. So no wet surfaces, like the floor may not be wet, they may slip and fall, or they will trip over the electrical cord. The next one is your own business, the advantages and the disadvantages. Now you must teach the children how to start a business. Now when you go to practice teaching in next year, you will teach the children about having your own business. They can have a small business. For example, the business can be maybe in front of their house, or the business can be on the side of the road, or the business can be somewhere in the area where they live. But it is not allowed to sell things at school without permission, only when it's entrepreneurship and they have that week of entrepreneurship at school. So let us look, when you are teaching your children about how to have your own business, what are the advantages? The first advantage is you are your own boss, which means you will make your own hours. You will decide what the product is that you want to sell or the product you want to make, and you need to find the money to start your own business. That is advantages. So you can decide when do you want to sell. If you want to sell today and you made enough money, but the important thing about a business is all the profit that you make, you must teach children this, is the profit must first go back into the business. For example, if they sell popcorn or sweets or something, every little bit of money they must put back in the business so that they can buy their own profit. Maybe they ask money from their parents, then they must first give the money back and put the rest of the profit in to buy the goods again. So they cannot just make money and use the money. Now a disadvantage is the earnings are very uncertain. Uncertain means today you will make a lot of money, tomorrow people will not buy from you again. The next day only 10 people will buy from you, and the next day only 5 people will. That is why I'm talking about uncertain earnings. So you must tell them, if you are not up early, if you are a lazy person, if you are a person who just eat all the profits, then you will not even see your earnings. That is why we talked about uncertain earnings. And then the other thing is, when you have your own business, for example, they in school or later on when they are entrepreneurs, you will have to work very long hours, and maybe you will not even see your family. That is why we said that is a disadvantage. The next one is the properties. That means the strength and the weaknesses. Now come, let's look at different things. If we take wood, for example, we say wood, the strength of wood is very useful and it is reasonable, which means you can get it anywhere. You can buy it, you can even chop it down, or you can go into the field and look for the wood that you want. Especially when you want to carve something like a face, or you want to carve an elephant or something. Wood is very strong because wood is not something that will break easily, and even if you make something and you let the carving fall, then the wood will not break. Now, what are a weakness of the wood? A weakness is something like it will take a long time to grow. So that is why we always teach children, if you chop one tree down, you must plant 3 or 4 of them, because it takes a very long time and it takes almost years for it to grow again. So that is now the weakness of wood. So there's lots of other things that you will read up on your Kindle. Those are the properties, the things that are working, that are strength, and the things that are weaknesses that are not so good. That is what I want you to do. So you must check in your assignment, is it about wood, or is it about plastic, or is it about iron, or what it is. And then you must check, like wood is now a natural thing that grows. But when you go to plastic or something else, those are not natural things. And then there's also natural products like iron, coal, or go. These are things that are coming out of the ground. So those are the natural things. But I don't want long sentences. You must just make bullet points and write for me what your answers are. So read through your read on your Kindle, and then you just decide which are the important things, and then you list them under strengths and weaknesses. The next one is energy. So we get different kinds of energy. The first one is energy. The second one is potential energy, and the third one is kinetic energy. So it is spelled Kinetic, not N. Sorry for the mistake. So with energy, you must just explain to us what energy is in a short sentence, and then just come up with, or look in your Kindle and you just make examples of what energy is. Now let me explain to you. Energy is when work is done, energy is transferred. For example, if you are exercising, or you take something heavy like a cupboard from this place to another place, it is energy that you put into it, because you refer your energy into the cupboard that you are carrying, and then you will put it in another place. Potential energy, the word potential refers to stored energy that can be used or changed when needed. Now, potential energy is when you work with something. For example, just like the cupboard again, you picked up the cupboard, there's energy that you put in. When you move it to another place, that is the energy that you put into it, and it's called potential energy. Now, kinetic energy is the energy that is associated with movement. Now, what kinetic energy is when you are jogging, when you are running, you are sweating, you are using all your muscles, you're using your strength, you're using your energy. That is what kinetic energy is. That is not about a person. But kinetic energy can also be when you use, for example, an electrical machine, and you want to clean something, for example, a piece of wood or something. That is the movement that goes into there. So you must just explain in 1 or 2 sentences, and then you give an example of that. So it's not for very long, not even 10 marks. Then we get to the features of an ideal design and technology class. Now let us see what is that. First thing, when you get in, you will just get a class, an empty class. Then you must decide what am I going to use the class for. First, I need chairs and I need tables for the children. Then I need a table and a chair for myself. Then I need a board, either a blackboard that is on the wall, or a whiteboard that I can move around. So these are the arrangements and you are going to decide what are you going to put in your class. So the first one is you must arrange your students' desks for cooperative learning groups. Now, when children are working in a group, when they are working in a group of 3 or 5, then it makes it easier for them to discuss things. It can make it easier for you to move around in the class and go from group to group, so that you can see where there is a misunderstanding, or is there something that they struggle with, is there a problem with something. So when the children are 3 or 5 in a group, you can easily find out also who will be the leader, who is the person who can take the lead in the group. And you can also see which children are very lazy, because in each group you will get that. Children that are enthusiastic about things that they want to learn, children that are eager to learn, and children that are plain and simply lazy to learn. So you must if you put them in groups, you will find out all these things. So let me just go over it again. what I wrote here. I said you must arrange your students' desks for cooperative learning groups. And then according to the cooperative learning classroom. That is what I explained now. So that they can do research. And then the desk must be placed into groups of 3 or 5 so that it can create the most effective group. Which means if the children are more than 5 in a group, some of them will not even work because they will just rely on what the others are saying. And you must also be careful because some children, they are more clever than other children. They are witty, so they will always overpower other children. So you must be careful. You must tell them, no, you can't do this. You need to be careful. You need to give someone else a chance. And if something is not working, then you must tell them, ask the others if they have other ideas. Why do you as a leader always want to take the lead and always want to explain everything and make all the decisions so that everybody in the group can feel that they can contribute to the group. And that is when children know how to respect one another. Then they will also be more enthusiastic to give an idea, even if the idea is not a good idea, but they feel that they can contribute to something. So when you are walking between the groups, you must always check who are the children that are taking part and who are the children that do absolutely nothing. They don't even want to do anything. So you must try there must be a balance in each group so that everybody can have a fair chance of talking, of giving suggestions or solutions to the problems, and also give ideas how they can do their work better. And then you will also in the groups you will also see there are children that are not very fast in understanding. So help teach others who understand quicker to teach the others, but not to discriminate between them. So I hope you will do well in your assignment, because design and technology is a subject that children can really go even up to high school and to grade 12, because they can, and at the end when they fail or they pass grade 12, they can go, if they pass grade 12, they can go on further studies for design and technology. If they pass grade 12 and they cannot get a job, they can always become their own entrepreneur, which means they can start their own business and they can make their own money. So the more you as a student teacher and later on as a teacher become in designing technology, because you need to read up all the time so that you can get ahead of the technology, and so that if children ask you questions, that you will not sit there and you don't know the answers. So you need to read all the time, even if you don't read newspapers or books, but you need to go up and Google things that is not familiar to you. Don't let the children ask you questions and then you stand there and you don't know the answer. If you don't know the answer, be truthful enough and say, I'm not sure, but I will go find out and tomorrow I will tell you. And you must remember, children can only trust adults that are truthful. So if you say, I will come back tomorrow and give you the answer, then you must make an effort, go read up and give them the answer tomorrow, so that the trust relationship can be between teacher or student teacher and children. That is the only way you will help them to understand that even teachers can make mistakes, even teachers don't know everything, but we can always find out. So if that trust relationship is there, then they know they can also trust you in saying, ma'am or sir, I don't understand, but if you give me a chance, I will go find out, I will read up, and then give them a chance the next day to come and tell the class what did they find out. Because if they find out something that others didn't know, other children will also look up to them, especially children that are not very quick in understanding. Give them simple tasks to go find out something. And then you challenge them the next day and telling them, did you find out, can you come and tell the class, or can you stand in front, or do you want somebody to stand next to you that you can explain what you found out? So you must always give them an opportunity and a chance to express themselves. And that is the end of my presentation. So you can call me between 2 in the afternoons and 5, because I'm also teaching in the morning. And in the evenings I have classes at IUM at the university. So you can call me between 2 and 5. If you can't get a hold of me, just send an SMS with your name and which year you are in as a student, and then I will come back to you. And if you send me an SMS, don't say hello Arenda or hi Arenda. That is not how we address people. You say good afternoon ma'am or sir, and then you send your request, and you tell me also what do you want. Do you want me to help you to understand something? Or is it something that you find difficult to understand and I must explain to you, then I can call you back? Or what exactly do you want from me? So that I know you are a second year student and you are calling from Ongwadiva and you want this, and so that we can be clear about what we expect from one another. So my cell phone number is 081 644 2582. And you don't have to be scared to call me. If you want to call me, then you must not call me between 7 and 1, because then I will be in a class and I won't be able to answer the phone. But anytime you can call me between 2 and 5, or afterwards you can just send me an SMS and I will come back to you. Thank you so much.